Well, good afternoon. My name is Steve Pettis. I'm here with Terry Kelley. Say hi, Terry.
Hi, everyone.
Terry is the director of the Henderson County Cooperative Extension Office. I am the horticulture agent. I know a little bit about apples, but Terry knows a whole lot more than me. And Terry and I planted some apple trees here in our landscape at the office a while back. And I'm gonna ask Terry some questions because apple season is in full swing now as far as the trees growing and that sort of thing. So if you'll bear with me, turn this screen on. Terry, tell me a little bit about what's going on with apple trees right now. What stage are they in?
Well, Steve, it really depends on the variety because the varieties are emerging different, come out of dormancy at different times of the year. These trees in our yard here will be in their third leaf this year, I believe, and which means this will be the third year that they've put on leaves since they were planted. You can see this tree here, which is a Baldwin variety. It's on a G935 rootstock, which is going to limit its growth. It's not going to be a really large tree. It's going to be kind of a medium-sized tree. It needs a little support here. We've got the pole by it to give it some support.
While you're talking about rootstocks, can we talk about rootstock?
Yeah.
So explain what a rootstock is.
So the rootstock is, you see this big bulge here. Well, this tree was grafted, in the nursery. And basically they took this Baldwin, it is Baldwin from there on up. That's the variety that the apple will be. And then they had cut that off about there and grafted it onto the rootstock here, which is G935. That means it's a Geneva rootstock. And what the rootstock does is control the growth of the tree. If we had just planted this tree with its own roots, it would have become a very large apple tree. And we didn't want that. We want a more medium-sized apple tree.
So that's what we call a dwarfing rootstock?
That's why we call it a dwarfing rootstock.
I got you.
And so you want to keep that, when you're planting these, you want to keep that graft union above the ground considerably, or else the scion will root into the ground and will affect the size of the tree.
Make your tree too big, right?
Make the tree bigger than you want it to be.
And you mentioned the stake, and we've got that tied on with all different kinds of materials, but mostly these...
It's called Ag-Lock.
Ag-Lock black plastic ties.
Mm-hmm.
They're loose enough that they don't damage the tree, but they're tight enough that they keep the tree straight and strong. And so how long does the stake have to stay on?
We'll pretty much keep that stake there for the duration of the tree on these, because it will never get over about 12 or 14 feet tall. We may have to actually put something a little more sturdy at some point.
Oh, interesting.
When the tree gets a little bigger. These trees that are on the dwarfing type rootstocks often need permanent support. You see some of this out in the landscapes in Hendersonville or out in the countryside in Hendersonville. You see some of the trees that are on trellises, and those are actually probably even a smaller tree than this will be, and they require pretty much a full-blown trellis to keep them on.
So what's up with the stage of flowering or leafing out?
Yeah, so we're right now in the stage where we see these buds emerging, and we can go down here and we can look at one like this that is what we call Silvertip. That's the first stage after dormancy, and it's starting to swell a little bit, got some sap in it, and then you start getting some here that have swelled up a little bit more, and then you take one like this, it's starting to show some green. That's your green tip, which is another advanced stage. And then when they start to see these leaves kind of start to emerge from there, that's what we call half-inch green. So there's a couple more stages beyond that before they'll be in full bloom. As you can see, not all the buds emerge at the same time on this tree.
And not all emerge at the same time for different varieties, right?
Exactly. You and I just looked at a tree across the yard over there that looked like it was still fairly dormant.
Yeah, we got one right there. I forget what variety it is, but it's just a stick right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything going on.
So, and the time that they bloom really doesn't have anything to do with the time that they mature. In fact, Granny Smiths are one of the first ones that will bloom, but that'll be one of the last ones you harvest.
It's totally variety dependent.
Yeah,
And
totally variety dependent. You know, we're in the first day of spring here today, and we hope we're going to have spring from here on out, because cold weather could do some real damage on these right now.
yeah, we're all praying for no cold weather.
Yeah, because we get out this far, they're very susceptible. Now, when this bloom emerges and creates a full bloom, it's going to have about 6 blooms in that cluster, and there'll be one in the middle that's called the king bloom, and it'll probably be just a little ahead of the rest of them, and there'll be 4 or 5 around it. And you know, really what we want to happen is that king bloom to get pollinated, so that that's where the apple is created. Now, if that king bloom were to get killed or comes out and it's not properly shaped or something, then one of those other blooms might be one of the ones that gets pollinated and creates the apple there. So,
Can you talk a little bit about fruiting spurs, just what they look like? These are places where the apples might come out in the future.
You see, you know, these structures here that they're putting, the limbs putting on there, that are going to be, you know, turn into fruits a little bit later on. They put on these fruiting spurs, and then you see this right here is a vegetative leaf. It's coming out from the end there. You can tell the difference in that versus this one down here. That one's not going to produce a fruit. That's a
Interesting
vegetative leaf. So it'll come out like that.
Well, I think that's going to do it for today, Terry. Thank you for the information on apples. This is the NC State Henderson County Master Pomology Facebook page. And Terry and I plan to do more of these in the coming weeks, since people are at home. Probably with getting bored of watching Netflix, they can watch, learn a little bit about apples, and we'll try to keep, Terry and I will try to keep up with the what's going on with apples in the county over the next few weeks. So thanks for joining us. Goodbye.